So I basically opened the articles and I kept the ones open. Like this was the question I asked. And literally, this was my job, you know, to Google this and read it for you so that you don't have to, right? Sure. And the very short answer is there's roughly two. There's this very short answer that I can just flat out give you, and it's because of Tether. So there's two things happening right now. Like people, our friend Phil from Thursday, he's been talking about for several weeks and explaining more in detail to me how DeFi in general is getting in this overheated phase. There's all these different contracts that people are trying to do yield farming and liquidity mining. And like I know what yield farming is, I don't know what liquidity mining is. I have a rough idea, but apparently if you have an information advantage and you have a team that is smart enough to stay ahead of everyone else, then you can make a lot of money. And that will only last for a couple of months, and everyone knows that. So everyone is frantically, feverishly moving around DAI and other stable coins and other collateral into these contracts, trying to get like to double their money in a year or less. Like really, it's very exciting. So that is one cause, and another one is that since the last crash, a lot of people stopped buying ICOs and therefore also didn't have as much reason to have Ether. And everybody just, or a lot of people parked it in Tether, and that's a stable coin. And now apparently Tether runs on Ethereum now. Mm-hmm. So they migrated to Ethereum. I didn't know that until today.
They also have it on the Liquid sidechain.
Yeah, I heard about that too. Yeah, so you have now different places where you can move, including Ethereum. And now apparently a lot of those people that had their Tether as a way to have crypto but not be exposed to upward and downward volatility, they are now moving back into speculating on specific things, like including those DeFi contracts. So that is creating a lot of transaction volume for Ethereum, those two things together. And I even have this list here. Yeah, so there you have the actual figures.
About 20 cents per transaction? I mean, you're sending a secure message that is non-duplicatable to a certain extent around the world.
Let me, I already know the answer. So I agree with you, this is just a free market and it tells you that it costs money to do stuff that's valuable. Yeah. There's nothing interesting about that, but some people have smart contracts that do multiple operations and you don't really know how many operations there will be when you start. I personally also don't see that as a problem as well. Apparently that creates a huge incentive for writing smart contracts that have a predictable amount of steps in them. You know, so I never have an issue. Like people, if people say, I want something awesome, but I don't want to pay for it, and it says, well, you know, welcome to the real world. It's not kindergarten anymore. You know, capitalism is the reality that if you want something that's valuable, you have to give something back that is valuable. For example, a certain amount of money, right? So it's not, for me, this is not such a complicated issue, but some people have been using the argument that fee prices are higher than they used to be as a whole reason for why Ethereum should be replaced with something else. They call them the Ethereum killers, right? So Tron is an example. So it's I personally think that everyone deserves a shot at killing Ethereum, but it's probably not going to happen because anything that is actually valuable, like for example a DeFi smart contract that's going to generate you a lot of money, will just be paid for.
Well, the same thing, right?
Yeah. And same with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is also it's just the way markets work. So but we still have to have an explanation for why did these fees go up. So the first one is Tether, the second one is DeFi, and you can actually see it here in this leaderboard. You know, so how much Ether is being spent or Gwei, and then what is the USD value on it? You see it, they can actually track this. Mm-hmm. So we see number one is Tether, and then there's this whole Uniswap. I know what Uniswap is. But Uniswap is the DeFi stuff, right? Like because that's where you trade one Ethereum asset for another Ethereum asset. And I don't know what all these other things are. I don't know, right? This is also a decentralized exchange, actually. Kyber is okay. I think this settles it. You know, like three different articles plus one leaderboard explains why. So everyone hopes that Ethereum 2.0 is going to solve this. Yeah, and we were all skeptical about that.